everyone, welcome back to the Mindful Melbourne Makeup Podcast. My name is Kath and I'm a knitter, crocheter, knitwear designer and all-around maker living in Melbourne, Australia. This is my YouTube channel where I share all about the things that I've been making. Welcome and thanks for joining me today. You can find me on Instagram as Mindful Melbourne Maker and on Ravelry as kathsmartin, and you can find my knitting patterns on Ravelry for sale under kathsmartin designs. The details for everything I talk about today will be in the description box below, so if you just click more, you'll be able to see links to all the patterns, bags, yarn, everything that I speak about today will be down there. And feel free to give the video a thumbs up and comment and hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss any of my videos. I really appreciate when people do leave a comment or hit the like button. Just spreads joy in the world, doesn't it? So it's been a few weeks since I checked in with you all. It's been a really busy year, and it's actually just past my 1 year anniversary for this podcast channel, so that was it sort of came and went without me thinking about it too hard, but yeah, so I'm celebrating my pod-iversary, 1 year pod-iversary. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed and has watched over the past year. It's been really fun making these videos and chatting with you all and making friends over the internet, friends with new people, and sharing everything about what I've been making. It's been a lot of fun. So I thought I'd do a giveaway this episode, given that we're celebrating 1 year of the podcast. So all you have to do to enter this giveaway, and it will be for a free pattern, or whoever is the winner, I will give you a free pattern of your choice. It doesn't need to be one of mine, any free pattern up to 15 Australian dollars, and I will give you whichever pattern you like. So all you need to do to enter the giveaway is to comment below. That's it, just a comment, any comment, doesn't matter what it is. So thank you very much. Now we do have a giveaway from the previous episode, which was episode 14. So this is episode 15, in case I didn't say that, which I didn't. Episode 14 had a giveaway for some half-baked hand-dyed self-striping yarn to celebrate the release of my pattern, the Bendigo socks, as part of the Bendigo Project. So that yarn is here. And what I did in that episode was I asked, if you wanted to enter, you just had to write the word Bendigo socks in your comment. So I have gone through the comments on the last video. Thank you to everyone that commented. It was really fun to read everyone's comments. So the winner from that episode is Adelaide Knits. So if you can, I'll put the picture here of the comment. I did the random comment picker and it picked you out. So if you're watching, if you can please email me at mindfulmelbournemaker@gmail.com. Email me to let me know that you're the winner. Maybe put that in the subject line and let me know what your postal address is. I'll get that yarn out to you ASAP. So thanks very much. And that was the Hot Jam Donut colorway from Half Baked Hand Dyed that was generously donated by Danny. So thank you, Danny. So life has been very busy, lots of work, lots of family stuff, lots of making. So even though it's been quite a few weeks since my last episode, the making has not stopped, which means that there's an absolute pile of things to show you today. We also had, since the last episode, we had the launch of the Bendigo Project. So we had the cast on party, which was a lot of fun. And the video of that is actually up on my friend Gayanne's channel, which is the Fibre Mates podcast. So if you go over and check out her channel, if you haven't already, the video from the cast on party for the Bendigo Project is up on her channel. So go and check that out. So we did launch the Bendigo Project. It's been a lot of fun seeing everybody join in. There's a Bendigo Project knit along, which I'm participating in. Obviously I can't win any prizes or anything, but it's a lot of fun. And I had, as a part of that, the release of my Bendigo socks. So the Bendigo socks, let me just grab them. Ooh. Oh, sorry, would have been good if I grabbed them before. So just as a reminder, my Bendigo socks, that's this pattern here. So they're the 4-ply version, and it also comes in the 8-ply or DK weight version. And it's got these really fun cables, a fun stripy heel, and a stripy toe. So the theme was stripes, and so those are the Bendigo socks. So they were released as the pattern for that was released as part of the Bendigo project. And the knit along for that is going along now. Also, my Apple Isle socks came out, so that's these ones here. So they were released as part of the Bombed Yarns sock box in February. So this pattern went to all of the subscribers, but it is now live on Ravelry if you wanted to grab a copy of this pattern. So it's a really, really fun pattern called the Apple Isle socks. So that's that one. I also released the Sydney socks, which I'll be showing you in a little bit as part of my finished objects. And I've got 2 more test knits underway, which is a lot of fun. And I've been to a couple of crafty markets. So I went to the Yarra Valley Yarn and Craft Market, which was really, really good. Lots of vendors, had lots of fun, met up with some yarny friends, and also met a couple of new people, including Amber O'Brien. Had a bit of a fangirl moment with Amber, so but got to spend a bit of time with her. We had some lunch and chatted about yarny things, which was a lot of fun. So that was a really fun market. And then we also went a couple of weeks ago to the Makers and Shakers market, which was on in Carlton in Melbourne at the Royal Exhibition building. So I went along to that as well. So it's been a really, really busy couple of or few weeks. So it's probably been just over a month since my last episode. And I have so many finished objects. I didn't realize how many I had until I gathered them all together. So what we're going to do is, this is probably going to go forever, and I don't want to do that to you. To those episodes where you click on them and they're 2 hours long. Oh my god. So I'm going to break this up into part 1 and part 2. Part 1 will deal with all the finished objects, and then part 2 will look at my works in progress, and that way you can just chip away at the episode and enjoy it and not feel like it's a massive slog. So I have in total 9 finished objects. Some of them are small, it's okay, and 6 active whips. So yes, we've got a bit to get through. So let's start with the finished objects. We'll have a look at those now. Okay, so let's talk about my finished objects, and there's a lot. And I'm not wearing any of them because while it is cooler in Melbourne at the moment, I've been running around like a crazy person this morning and I'm feeling very overheated, and it's not quite cold enough to wear all the knits yet. So yeah, so I haven't got any of my finished objects on, but I will show you them. So the first one feels like forever ago that I finished this one, but this one is the Moonlit Shawl by Sandra Paul. So this is a crochet project, and here is it, and here it is here. It is really, really pretty. So this yarn is from Passioned Flower. It's on the lattice sock base, and it is the colorway Wildflowers. And so that's the main color there, that beautiful, beautiful, soft, variegated yarn. And then the edge, which I'll explain in a minute why there's an edge. That edge is this beautiful dark teal color, and it is Manos del Uruguay in the Alma base, which is a really, really soft single ply, and it's in the color Devotion. So that is the Moonlit Shawl. So I used a 3.5mm hook to crochet this one up. And it's one of those 1 skein shawls. Now, as you can see, I have a different color border because I ran out of yarn. And so I actually started, you'll see that the border is started with the main color, but I didn't have enough to finish. So I thought instead of ripping back or trying to fudge it, I just thought I'll add a bit of contrast on the border, and I think it looks really, really pretty. So it's, I think, because I'm not a loose crocheter, so I reckon anybody would struggle to get this out of 1 skein unless it was a really, really sort of long meterage. But it's supposedly 1 skein. And that's it there. It's just a lovely light layer for autumn or for spring. It's really, really pretty and nice and light, and quite, for crochet, it's quite, floppy is not the right word, but that's the word we've got, floppy. It was very quick as well. I started this on the 23rd of February and I finished it on the 9th of March, which is very, very quick. So yeah, so that is my first finished object, the moonlit shawl. That was all I was going to say about that one. So 1 down, 8 to go. Okay, the second finished object is part of the Bendigo Project knit along. So just as a quick reminder, the Bendigo Project is a project where 4 designers, including me, we came together with a bit of a suite of patterns and released them as a fun knit along that is designed to be the sort of Rhinebeck sweater of Australia. So it's a collection of patterns that you can knit up in readiness for the Bendigo Sheep Show, or the Australian Sheep and Yarn Show in July in Bendigo. And so my Bendigo socks are the sock pattern that's part of that collaboration. My next finished object was the Cowl pattern that is designed by Tess Vandekolk of Fluff and Nonsense. So this is the basic Nonsense Fibonacci cowl, and here it is here. And it is a lot of fun. It was a very quick knit. I started it on the 1st of March and I finished it on the 10th of March, so just over a week. The pattern is written up in sport weight yarn, but I wanted to do a couple of things. So this is a cowl that's actually for my husband, and you'll see why in a sec. So it's a good fitting cowl. It warms the neck without being really, really bulky, and it's got a bit of interest with the sort of eyelet sections, but it's otherwise a really quick and easy knit. So when I wanted to knit this up, it's actually designed in 2 colours, but I wanted to knit it up in the colours of the New York Knits for my husband. So I have enough shawls and things, but my husband is always looking for something to keep his neck a bit warm. So I thought I'd knit the cowl up for him, but I wanted it in colours that was sort of meaningful for him. We barrack for the New York Knicks, and they're in the playoffs at the moment. Yeah. So we're watching a lot of Knicks, and I thought, well, I'll pick out some colours that are reflective of the New York Knicks. So I made it a bit of a sporting cowl. So I looked online at a few places because I wanted some good solid colours, and the New York Knicks are obviously blue, orange and white. So at Maker in Melbourne online, I found Kremke Soul Wool Merino 140, which is a DK weight yarn, but it actually has the sort of yardage of a sport weight, so it's a bit lighter and knits up like a sport weight. So I thought, well, that's perfect for this pattern. So I got it in 3 colours. This one is ink, this one is pumpkin, and this one is natural. So I went with a bit of a subdued New York Knicks palette rather than the sort of really fluoro orange and white. And I basically knit this on 4mm needles the whole way. So the pattern actually gets you to change needle sizes to adjust for the eyelet sections in terms of when they block out, to make sure everything blocks out nicely, and Tess did a wonderful job of that, but I'm too lazy. So I just thought it'll be fine, I'll block it out. And it is. It's totally fine. It blocked out perfectly, and I'm really, really happy with this. So that is my Basic Nonsense Fibonacci Knits Cowl, and that was knit up as part of the Bendigo Project knit along. So that was a really fun, very satisfying project. So that's number 2. Number 3. Number 3 is a very, very small finished object. Now I showed you a pair of these in the last episode, and this is a pattern that is actually in testing at the moment. The test finishes tomorrow, and so this pattern will be out in a week or 2 after that. And these are the mini Melbourne socks. So it's my Melbourne socks pattern, but adjusted, graded for everything from newborn up to child. And so there's 4 sizes, and there's lots of different options. I think last time I showed you the basic sort of vanilla sock. This time I knit up a pair that is ribbed. So these tiny little beauties, they're so cute. They are the ribbed version of the mini Melbourne socks. So in this sample, you can see you can fold over the cuff, and they're very, very cute. So this uses 2.25mm needles, and the yarn is Hedgehog Fibres Twist Sock in the colorway Freddo, which I think I got ages ago from Little Woolly Makes in Hastings from Julie. But yeah, really, really fun little pattern. There's a lot of free baby sock patterns out there. Some of them only come in one size, some of them only have one sort of heel, that kind of thing. As with all my patterns, I've got lots and lots of options in there. So there's options for stitch patterns, there's options for heels depending on what size sock you're making so that it suits the style of the foot. There's also stitch pattern options and all of that. So there's lots and lots of options. It's a really fun all-in-one pattern that you can just go to. And so they're the mini Melbourne socks, and they'll be out soon. And my testers have just made multiple pairs because it's so much fun. So those little ones I started on the 12th of March and I finished on the 16th of March. So they actually took me a little longer than the first pair. So they took 4 days. I think the first pair took me 2 days. So yeah, so they're really fun, and they were a very, very quick and satisfying knit. The other ones I've actually already gifted to my colleague who was leaving work to have a baby. So they've already been gifted to her, and I'm sure they're getting a lot of wear. So my next finished object I spoke about in my last episode a little bit. These are the Skimmer socks revisited. So I finished them. They're here, and they're absolutely beautiful to look at, and they're okay in terms of fit. They're all right. The process wasn't super enjoyable. I knit a lot of socks, and I have to say these socks, I didn't love making them. They were okay. They're a bit of a faff in terms of measuring how far you need to go for the foot and trying to work out if they're going to be right for your size. I think if I knit them again, I'd probably knit a few more rows to get a little bit more length, and I'd pick up fewer stitches in terms of the ribbing. You also need to bind off really tightly. I'm someone that I try and bind off a bit looser because otherwise I do tend to bind off too tightly. And so the first pair, the bind off is a bit looser, and they just don't kind of, not stay on, but they don't feel, they feel a bit loosey-goosey. Whereas the second pair I actually just bound off quite tightly, and they feel like they fit a bit better. So there's some tips there. It's a free pattern. It's a great pattern. I don't know if I'd make it again. I quite like making shorty socks as opposed to no-show socks. But the yarn is Freckled Whimsy, the Avent Skein from 2024. I had leftovers from that, and I still have lots of leftovers because these socks use almost nothing. They're really, really light. I started these on the 2nd of January, and I finished them on the 21st of March, which is ages considering how tiny they are. But think that just indicates I wasn't really having a great time knitting them. So I don't know if I'd knit them again. We'll see. I would definitely make a few adjustments if I was to knit them again though. And probably the most exciting thing about this project is that the yarn, the Freckled Whimsy yarn, the 2025 Avent skein was released for pre-sale a few weeks ago, and I got a skein of that. The shipping was absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. Unspeakably horrendous. So we won't speak of it, but I did get that skein, and I'm very excited to get that because, as you can see, her yarn is absolutely delicious. I love it. The colors are amazing. It knits up beautifully. It wears really lovely. So yeah, looking forward to getting that skein, and that's those ones off the needles, which is great. Okay, so that was 4. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. The 5th project, as opposed to the skimmer socks, which are really, they weren't my favorite thing. This project, I absolutely loved knitting. I loved the pattern. I loved the yarn. Everything about it was great, which meant it went really quickly. And it is my Lamina Cowl. So this is a pattern by Amber O'Brien. And so it is, I'll show you both sides. It is a really, really fun Advent project, or you can knit it in Advent. You can knit it in one colour or 2 or whatever you like. I did it in an Advent. But it's basically a big loop that you knit basically back and forth. So you knit it flat and then you join it if you want. It's also a wrap pattern, so you can knit it as a wrap that just sort of, you know, you wind around as a big scarf. But I have lots and lots of wraps, so I thought I'd go with a cowl. And it is really, really nice. So let's pop it on so you can see. So it's the perfect size. It sits really beautifully. It sort of keeps the neck warm, but it's quite light. And so you can wrap it around twice and just get all those different colors showing. It's really, really pretty. And the lace pattern is really easy. It's easy to do. It's easy to see if you make a bit of a mistake, and it's easy to fix, which is great. So what yarn did I use? I used my My Creative Garage Flowers Advent from 2024, which, if you can see, has sparkle in it. Hopefully you can see. It was a sparkle base. So this was my first time getting an Advent with a sparkle base, and I would totally do it again. It makes this project just ever so slightly spectacular with the sparkle. It's very subtle, but it's really, really pretty, and I just really, really love it. And I have to say, these colors by Vanessa in this Advent, oh, they're so my colors. I love them so much. They bring so much joy. So yeah, so there is a bare yarn that I use. So this is undyed yarn that I used, and that is just a main skein that actually came in my Rainbows and Sprinkles Advent, and I sort of took it out of there because I knew I wasn't going to use it for whatever I knit up with that. And so I've used that as my main color. And what are the stats on this? So I used all 24 day colors 24 colors, and I also used the main skein. So the main skein is here. That's this color here. So I actually have 25 color stripes, which is the perfect length. Absolutely perfect. And I started this was my New Year's Eve cast on. I started it on the 31st of December and I finished it on the 25th of March. So I knit this up on 3.75mm needles. I don't know if that's the one in the pattern. I think it is. But yeah, it turned out really, really beautiful. And I only used 7 grams of each color from the Avent, and the Avent was 20 grams. So I have heaps left. So I could knit a whole nother project with this amazing sparkly yarn. So yeah, so that is my Lamina Cowl. It's really, really pretty. The only other thing is I you do a provisional cast on. So I provisionally cast on over a what are they called, the stitch holders, the flexible tubing that you can use to sort of try on sweaters and things. I used that and I provisionally cast on over that, so my stitches were just held on that the whole time at the start, and then when I needed to do the 3 needle bind off at the end, I just slipped a needle through using, you know, that very easy tubing, and I was able to do the 3 needle bind off, no worries. So that was how I did that one. So yeah, really, really enjoyable. I highly recommend the yarn, highly recommend the project. Really, really liked it. So anything else on that one? No. So that was number 5. Now number 6 is a really big one, and it's really exciting because I was very, very excited to get this one finished. Now I'm not going to put this on because it is way too hot, but I do have footage of me trying it on this morning, which is one of the reasons I'm so hot. So I'll put that footage up. But this is my sweater. So here it is here. It's all done and it is beautiful. It's so soft. It's extra warm. So this is going to be one of the jumpers that I wear in the height of winter when it's really, really cold, and I pretty much at all other times I think it will be too warm because it's a very rustic yarn that is held with a beautifully soft silk mohair, and it's softened up with washing, but it does mean that it is quite warm. But yeah, this is the sweater by November Knits or Anna Fiskum Sunday, and it's one of those sweaters that has the really high split at the side, so you've got the front and back panel of ribbing that come up really, really high, which is really quite flattering, and the colour is beautiful. I really, really enjoy the colour, and it's got a folded collar, which I've got a little, I weaved in my ends and made a little bow so I can tell where the back is. And yeah, it's got nice wide cuffs, so it doesn't sort of have balloon sleeves or anything. They're quite roomy and it's wide, so it's quite a casual, lovely look. So I used yarn from Sunspun in Melbourne. I used the called for yarn, which I almost never do. This is Isager Jensen and Isager silk mohair held together. So the Jensen is colour 11S and the silk mohair is colour 11. And I used the recommended needles from the pattern, 5mm and 4.5. And the only other thing I did was when I bound off the 2x2 ribbing, I didn't do tubular cast off or anything. I just did it sort of inside out bind off, which I think I've spoken about before, but I just do it so that I bind off with the wrong side facing me, and it just means that the bound off edge tends to roll inwards to the back, to the wrong side, so it just gives a really lovely finish on the bottom there. But yeah, really, really happy with this sweater. It took me a while because it is so fluffy and so warm. Knitting on it over the summer months just did not feel good, so I kind of popped it in a corner for a while. I started it on the 7th of July last year, so quite a while ago, and I finished it on the 4th of April. So it was a bit of a long knit, but totally worth it, and I can see me getting a lot of wear out of it in the really, really cold weeks of the year when we have that cold weather in Melbourne. I think that's it from that one. It's a lovely pattern though, very, very straightforward, very easy, nothing complicated, very well written. I'd really recommend it. And I think this pattern also comes in a fingering weight. I'm not sure if I could do that amount of ribbing in fingering weight sweater, but you never know. It was fun, it was good. So number 7 is a fun one. So this is my latest sock release that went out, and this is my finished sample of that pattern, and these are the Sydney socks. So this is a pattern by me and this is them here. And they're so so much fun. They're so pretty. So they've got a lovely, lovely texture. As you can see, it's a really fun texture. It's mostly just knitting, which makes it really, really quick to knit. Oh, hang on, a garbage truck. We'll just wait for the garbage truck to go past. Okay, garbage truck is gone. Let me start again. Sydney socks. Okay, so this pattern was just released by me last week. This is the next pattern in my series of Australian city sock collection. And it's a really, really fun one. So the yarn is Bombed Yarns. It's the Dynamite sock base. I think that's what it's called. And this color is Moral Fibre. And this really fun neon pop of color is actually Hodgepodge Skeins, and it doesn't have a color name. It's just the fluoro green or greeny yellow, and it was in a pick and mix bowl at the Bendigo sheep show a couple of years ago. So I just thought it went really, really well with this purple. This is a really, really fun pattern because it's got a new sort of cuff on here to my other patterns. It's a folded picot cuff, so you can see it's got that lovely picot edge there, and it's folded over. Really, really easy. The instructions make it really, really easy. There's videos and things to help you. And then under the cuff here is a lateral braid. So first time doing something like that in one of my patterns, and it's really, really simple but just looks so, so pretty. It's then got this fun texture. And then there's the option of a Eye of Partridge heel or a shadow wrap heel, which is my favorite short row heel. So there's some short row heels that I don't enjoy knitting, but this one is a lot of fun. It doesn't leave any holes. It's really easy. So that's the shadow wrap heel there. And then just the normal sort of wedge toe. So it's a really, really fun pattern. I've got both socks here. It wears really well. It's really fun and really quick to knit, and I think it's just a really pretty soft design. A lot of fun. So I started those in November last year, on the 9th of November. I had to put it down over sort of Christmas Advent, but I finished them off on the 6th of April. And it uses 2.25mm needles. So that is now out if you want to go over and grab your copy. If you actually watch to the end of my episodes of this episode, there'll be a little discount code as a bit of a celebration for my pod-iversary. So if you haven't grabbed a copy and you want to pick up a small discount for off my patterns, you can wait till the end and there'll be a code for that. So yeah, they're the Sydney socks, and thank you to everyone who did buy a copy. I hope you're enjoying knitting them up. They're a lot of fun. Okay, two more finished objects. Let's have a drink. The first of the last two, so the 8th finished object is another Avent project, which was absolutely beautiful to knit up. The yarn is really, really amazing, and it is my Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. So this is it here. So as you can see, it's got mostly garter, and then it's got these sections of lace right here, and they sort of go throughout the design. And what you're doing is you're actually melting or fading the colors from one to the next with sort of different alternating stripes of the colors to sort of fade them in, which gives you that effect of a fade, especially the further away you get. So this yarn was my Ashen Eve 2024 Advent, the Yarnival of yesteryear Advent, and the colours are just spectacular. They're really, really pretty all together and look amazing in this shawl. The shawl was really fun to knit, but it is huge absolutely huge. You don't get a sense of it while you're knitting it. It sort of goes and goes and goes forever, but you don't get a sense of how massive it is until you finish it. And then you block it, and I didn't pin it out or anything. I just laid it out in the shape because I thought if I pin it out, it's even going to be even bigger. So yeah, it's good. It's all good. So I used the 24 colours. I didn't use the main skein. I'm going to use that for something else, I think. But yeah, I used 24 colours. And the way that I did that, because this pattern is not generally for an Avent. I think it's designed for 3 colours or something. But there's a couple of people that have done their calculations and have knit it up in an Avent, and I found those Ravelry project pages that have the instructions of how they did it, and I have linked their projects in my project page, but I've also written out the instructions of where you change colours, so that if you want to do the same thing, if you want to use this pattern for an Avent, if you just click on my project page for this, it's got all the instructions of how to do it in there. So you'll know when to change colours and how to do all that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, a really good way to use the Avent. I used 3.75mm needles, which I don't know if that's what was in the pattern, but that's what I used. And I have some leftovers so they're my leftovers there. So I have a good amount of leftovers, so I'll be able to use those for something else, I reckon. I started this on the 11th of December and I finished it on the 12th of April. And I think that's it for this one, but I really, really enjoyed making it, and I'm going to really enjoy wearing it, although it is massive. So it'll be a good one in winter to really wrap myself up in. Let's pop it on now. I'll show you. You can wear it quite loosely because it is so big, but yeah, probably, there you go. Wrap it around a couple of times. Lovely. So yeah, so that is my Find Your Fate by Andrea Murray, and that one was a lot of fun. I really recommend that pattern, especially for Avents. Oh, we're up to the last finish object. My goodness. So this one is a really fun one because this is actually a pattern that I've quickly whipped up, and it was sort of following on from the release of the Bendigo socks. A couple of people said to me, oh, it'd be really great if I could knit the yarn up that I'm getting, but in a way where people can see it. So I'd like to knit it up in mitts, so that the yarn, I can show off the yarn. The yarn's not stuck in my shoes. And I thought, well, I can do that. I haven't designed a mitt pattern before, but I'm sure I can do that because I've knit quite a few mitts and I really like knitting fingerless mitts. So this design is based on the Bendigo socks, but it's a mitt pattern. So these are the Bendigo mitts, and here is the first one, and I've got a second one here. The yarn is absolutely spectacular. Let me show you the yarn first. So it's in my thread and maple bag that I got from Louie and Lola. Now this is Hodgepodge Skeins. Hodgepodge Skeins. And it's the colourway Confetti, which I think I showed you as an acquisition in my last episode. And here are the colours that I got. So it came as a bit of a sock set with 2 minis, and this colourway is just beautiful. Now this pattern, you can see it used 55 grams of the main colour and then 5 grams of each mini, so there's heaps left over, heaps. And this is a DK weight fingerless mitt pattern, so it knits up really quick, but it's a DK weight gauge. There's 3 different yarn options. You can knit it up in DK weight yarn, you can knit it up in fingering weight held double, which is what I did, or you can knit it up in fingering weight held with a silk mohair or a suri alpaca silk to make really luxurious mitts. And so this pattern is being tested right now, and it should be out in a few weeks' time, which is very exciting. So you'll be able to knit it up in time to wear it as part of the Bendigo Project, and you'll be able to wear it to the Bendigo Sheep Show with your socks and be all matching. So they're the mitts there. So they've got the cables that are the same as the cables on the sock. It's got a really, really easy thumb gusset, very easy instructions. I give all the tips for how to do it so that there's no hole there. And it's got the really fun striped ridge pattern on the top and bottom, which you can do in contrast colors. You can do it all in one color. It's also customizable, so you can knit the finger ribbing longer if you want more coverage on your fingers, or you can knit it you know, as long as I do. I like to have my fingers out so I can go on my phone. And the cuff is a good length, so it won't be so long that it pushes up against your other clothes, but it gives just that little bit of coverage on your wrist. So these are the Bendigo Mitts. So these, I think I've said all of that. So they use 3.25 and 3.75 millimeter needles to get that really lovely fit around the wrist and then on the hand. And they come in 4 sizes. So there's actually a child size and then 3 adult sizes. So you can knit them up for the whole family. I knit my first mitt in 1 day. They're so quick to knit. One mitt took me 1 day. But then I sort of took my time on the second sample on the second mitt, just to sort of iron out all the kinks. And so all up, it took me 12 days to knit both pairs, but you could absolutely knit a pair up in a couple of days. And I think that's it for those. So I'm really excited about these ones coming out soon as part of the Bendigo Project. And yeah, a really fun, really quick knit, and you'll be able to match your mitts to your socks. Yay! So yeah, so that's all my finished objects. Whew, that was a slog. I can't believe how many finished objects in so little time. So to wrap up this part of this episode, because we'll do it in 2 parts, I thought I'd show a couple of acquisitions that were a bit, spread out. So I did a bit of an order with my friend Sylvia. So Sylvia was ordering from Bobbles and Berries, which is a stitch marker maker. Her name's Ode, and she has a podcast as well, which I watch, and it's really, really a great podcast. She makes embroidered stitch markers and sells them, and she's in Scotland, so it's a bit of a hike to get any of her stuff, which is beautiful. But Sylvia messaged me and said, I'm doing an order, do you want anything? I said, absolutely yes. So I ordered these stitch markers from Bobbles and Berries, and they came, and they're so cute. So they're a little sheep and a little cow and a little thistle, and they're absolutely beautiful. So I'm very excited about those. Very excited to use them, and they're really, really special, having come from the completely other side of the world from a lovely maker over there. And then the other thing I wanted to show you was I went to the Makers and Shakers market, as I mentioned. Now there wasn't a lot of, it's not really a yarny event, but there are a couple of making type stalls at the Makers and Shakers market, so it was lovely to see a couple of vendors there. The first one was Fibersmith, so it was great to catch up with Leslie and Polly at the Fibersmith stall. And I also saw Spruce Craft Co, which I've done one of her cross stitch patterns before. So she's a cross stitch pattern and kit maker in Australia, in Melbourne, and she was vending at the Makers and Shakers market, so I wanted to support her. So I got another cross stitch kit from her, and I got this really fun one here, which is called Ice Cream Parlour, and it's got all the classic ice creams from growing up in Australia. So it's got Golden Gay Time, my favourites, Paddle Pop, Rainbow Paddle Pop, Drumstick, Bubblo Bill. It's got heaps of others, but I just thought that was lots and lots of fun, and I really wanted to support a local maker like that. So yeah, so that was all my finished objects, a couple of acquisitions, and I might leave it there and we'll jump into part 2. But thank you very much for watching part 1. I'll show you in the next part all my active works in progress and share some more acquisitions that I got from the Yarra Valley yarn and craft market. And yeah, so I'll see you over there. Hopefully go and watch that one. In that episode, I'll also have a discount code as a bit of a celebration for my 1 year pod-iversary. But thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.